Dear TMS viewers, you are asking yourself the question, why should I look at TMS? And I'll try to answer it. The TRANSCEND Media Service is for you, and the mantra, the slogan, the motto is peace journalism. Now, it differs from other types of journalism, not in any way in disregarding war and violence. We have to know the world in which we live. But it will always ask the question, what's the underlying conflict? And is there some way of solving that conflict? You can say that it's operating the same way as what you might call health journalism. There's an outbreak of a major disease in a country, an epidemic, and I think you would expect of the journalist not only to record the number of people who are victims to that epidemic, or whatever it is. You would ask of the journalist, you would demand of him, in fact, that he asks questions about the diagnosis. What kind of disease is it? And he would probably ask the authorities, what are you going to do about it? So exactly the same we say. What kind of conflict is it? What's at the root? What are you going to do about it? In other words, how are you going to bring about peace as the opposite of violence? Well, that requires a lot of knowledge that most journalists don't have. They don't have an image of peace. As a matter of fact, they don't even know what it looks like, so they wouldn't recognize it if it came by. I'll give you one example. 9/11, New York, Washington, so-called terrorism. 7/7, London in the metro, so-called terrorism. I say so-called because this is a strategy for political purposes. It doesn't help anything to call it terrorism. It's similar to state terrorism, namely annihilating civilians, usually from the air. 11 March 2004, the trains in Madrid. Now, it so happened that Zapatero, the Spanish Prime Minister, understood the conflict and started solving it, whereas Bush and Blair did nothing. So peace journalism would, for instance, be to find a similar case and ask, how did these people handle it? Well, what Zapatero in fact did was to pull the troops out of Iraq immediately. Maybe he didn't find it a good idea to kill Muslims. Traveled to Rabat in order to have a one-on-one dialogue with the Moroccan king, Mohammed, and then, of course, legalizing close to 500,000 Moroccan workers without permits, really illegal in Spain, provided they could show that they had a job. And then launching a dialogue of civilizations. In other words, 4 things. Brilliant, excellent. Nothing almost, never reported in the Western press. So we want solution orientation, we want consciousness about how things can be done. We want to try to portray what peace looks like when it is there. And not as some kind of mysterious never land, some kind of utopia or moralistic wishes. We see it as a very concrete process. Very concrete. We see it as 100 times more realistic than trying just to crush and beat and kill so-called terrorists or state terrorists. In other words, we see it as an opening to the future. And we in TMS, the managing editor Antonio Rosa, the peace journalist Kimberly Kowalczyk, and I myself, writing editorials that you can see every Monday, we'll try to do our best to stick to this program, and we want your cooperation. We want you to correct us where you think we go wrong. We want you to contribute ideas, to be positive and constructive and creative, like we try to be ourselves. Thank you, and we look forward to years of cooperation.